Righty, and we're talking food this morning and saying congratulations because you've already won an award for the dish that you're going to make today. Steve Gels, the surfing chef, is back, grabbed a rockfish in his teeth as he was surfing and brought it here. You don't want to stick with that story?
No, I don't think so.
Very exciting.
It is very exciting, but I didn't do it that way.
All right, but it is fresh caught local rockfish. There was a big tournament recently. Everybody kind of caught their own rockfish, and then it was up to the chefs to cook it any way you wanted, right?
Any way you wanted, correct.
And you came in second.
Second.
Okay. Good as first place around here.
Yeah, well, it worked.
Well, we just want to try it anyway. We still want to eat it. So Steve has graciously agreed to recreate his award-winning recipe for us today.
And what we're going to do is we're going to have sauteed rockfish, and we're going to make a cashew relish, and we're going to serve it over some orzo with saffron and a chicken stock and white wine reduction.
Wow, that's how you know you're special. When someone will break out the saffron, it means you're special to them, because that's, it's an exotic spice.
And one of the most expensive spices.
But, I mean, could you see this dish without it?
No.
No. All right, so you got to spring for it if you want to do this one right.
You do.
What's the first thing we do?
What we're going to do is we need to toast the cashews, which are roughly chopped.
Okay.
And we'll toast them to get the oils out and the flavors pronounced in the, I don't know, I guess I lit the wrong burner. There we go. No?
Nope.
How about this one?
Well, let's just turn them all on.
That's what we're going to do.
We really are.
I think we got it.
The one in the middle. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. It lines up. So get that going. We'll toast those. And then what we'll do is...
should I move them around?
Move them around so they don't burn.
I always feel the need to move them around. Okay.
Important. So we'll just let those cook for a couple of seconds there.
And I will admit that I asked if that was risotto that you brought today, and you said no, and you made a face at me.
Well, it takes a long time. It takes about 40 minutes to make risotto. And this way I par cook the orzo so we don't have to start it from scratch.
I think the face was more because that looks nothing like risotto.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It's just kind of similar shape, but doesn't look exactly like it.
Okay, I'm here to learn.
All right.
All right, so you said you pre-cooked that, save us a little bit of time too.
Yes, and at the same time, what we can do here is for the orzo, we've got some pancetta, and we'll throw this into the pan, and we'll start rendering the fat out and crisp up the pancetta. And once that takes place, we'll add some shallots to it, and we'll let that start for us for the orzo spot.
And you can buy the pancetta just like this, right?
Well, it usually I don't know if you can buy it diced like that or cubed, but it comes in a round, looks like a salami kind of.
Yeah.
Because it's bacon, but it's not smoked, and the Italians roll it, so it's like I said, it looks like a big old salami, and then just slice it and dice it.
Okay.
But it does have that smell of bacon. Bacon doesn't work in this recipe because of the smokiness. This is just cured.
Okay.
Because it'll be too strong otherwise.
I never knew the difference, by the way, between pancetta and bacon.
And that's what it is. The bacon is smoked, where pancetta is just cured.
Now we all know. All right, you got the rockfish slice nice and thin.
Yes, I did, because what we want to do is we're going to put it in a cornstarch flour mixture and get it nice and crisp and keep it thin. And then we'll make the relish as we're going along. Is this starting to heat up a little bit?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
heating up a little bit. Yeah,
all right,
that's not bad.
Getting there. Pancetta's sizzling. We're off to a great start here today.
That we are.
All right. Well, when we come back, I guess what will we do? To start flouring up the fish, start cooking the fish?
And we'll start assembling the relish. Once this gets a little bit more browned off, we'll add the jalapenos, and then we have some honey that goes in it, some white vinegar.
Wow.
And then we're going to chop some cilantro and add that as well.
Okay. All right. Keep up if you can. We'll be back in the kitchen in a few minutes. Right now, we need to check in with meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler. Yeah. We're back in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen with the surfing chef, Steve Dallas. I did it again. I said, what are those, scallions? He made the face again. Margaret knows the face. Your beautiful wife is.
Yes, she is.
They're chives.
Chives.
Chives, okay. Since we last checked in, boy, the pancetta's looking good. What'd you throw in there? Some shallots?
Some shallots, some chopped shallots.
Okay, and the toasted?
We toasted the cashews, added some of the diced jalapeno.
Oh, yeah.
And the white vinegar, honey. And then I chopped about a little more than a cup of cilantro and added it.
Okay.
And so we'll let that sit and marinate and have those flavors all come together.
All right.
So here we're going to do the orzo.
Right. Not risotto.
Not risotto.
You don't have to dwell there, you know. The orzo that you can pre-cook for this recipe. Save yourself a step if you're going to make this for a dinner party or something like that, and you don't have that big boiling pot on the stove.
Right.
Is that how you make orzo?
That's exactly how you do it. And you just want to leave it al dente, even more than al dente. Want it hard because we're going to cook it down with some white wine and some stock
gotcha.
as well.
Okay.
So otherwise it'll cook too much, and we don't want it too mushy
No,
or
we
too
don't.
soft.
Okay.
Do we?
So you want me to mix this up while you start on the fish?
You can mix that up, and we're going to add some saffron and some white
Oh,
wine
okay.
and deglaze it.
Okay. You're the boss.
Okay, here we go. And we can turn the heat up. That's a couple of cups.
It's quite a
of,
generous pour.
That is. And we're going to get this saffron in. This is quite a bit, but
Now, what is the deal with saffron? How come it is so rare and expensive?
I
Is it
think
only
it-
grown in like one place in the world, or
it's
is it
the
hard
stamen of a crocus, and it takes about 5,000, I believe, 5,000 flowers to get 1 ounce of saffron.
Wow. Doesn't that make you wonder? Doesn't it make you wonder how, like, who is the first person who ate it and said, "Oh my gosh, this is terrific"?
Yes, it does.
You don't
It's
have.
about-
You don't have to say if you don't
It's,
have
it's
those
almost as
kinds
bad
of
as
thoughts.
who's the first one that ate a raw oyster or a raw clam.
You're right.
I mean, that's scary.
Who
when
decided
you
that
think
was a
about
good
that.
idea? That's
Yeah,
right.
Who decided that?
I don't know. We'll never know. They don't put that kind of stuff in the history books.
No, they don't.
Anyway, all right.
And the saffron will get it nice, and the yellow color will come out as we cook it.
Yeah.
And then that warmth that you get from saffron when you cook with it. It's not hot, but it gives that warm, round taste to it.
I thought saffron was yellow, but it's red. Or this saffron's red. Why are you
red.
making that face again?
red.
Does everybody in the world
It's
know it's
red.
not yellow? All
think
this
so. It tur-
saffrony food is yellow.
Yes. Well, it's going to. You'll start seeing this turn yellow. It'll turn a bright yellow.
What are you doing now?
We're going to add some chicken stock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what they're doing in the back, where the producer and everybody hangs out? They're begging me if they could. They're begging me to go forth and use saffroni now because I used it. Yes, you may. You can too, Steve.
Okay, I will.
And this is doing what now? What was
No,
that?
We're just going to let it cook, and we're going to let it reduce till it's almost dry now.
Okay. Does that mean I should stop?
No,
stop
keep stirring it so
Okay.
we've got that going.
Look, there's pieces of saffron sticking to the side of the pan. We don't want that.
No, we
Stuff
don't.
is expensive. We need to get it in there.
We do.
Get in there. Get in there. Okay. When are you going to start cooking the fish? Not to hassle you.
I think we're going to start cooking the fish now.
Next
How's
time?
that? Next
Now?
time. We'll do
Well,
it
let's
last
see.
when we assemble the plates so everybody can eat it.
Producer, do we have time? How much time do we have? Should we start cooking that fish or wait? All right. She says we have a little bit of time to get it going.
Okay.
But
all
if you
right.
would rather not, you're the boss. I can just keep stirring
You keep
it.
stirring that. I'm going to salt and pepper the fish.
There's another big piece on the side. Okay.
Another big piece of what? Saffron?
Yes.
All
Can't
right.
waste it.
No, we can't. All right, I'm going to come
But now
around this
what's going
side.
on over here? Again, a nice hot pan with olive oil in
We've
it?
got, actually, I'm not using, as much as I use olive oil, I'm not going to use olive oil today because it'll impart too much of a flavor to the fish, and we want to keep it pretty neutral, the oil that we cook with for this
Just when you
dish.
think you know a guy and can predict what you're going to do.
And I've always used olive
I
oil on the
know.
show. I always use it. But this dish, we don't want to have it fight with the relish and the orzo, so
I gotcha.
I used the neutral vegetable oil today.
Okey-doke. Now, but if you're going to make that switch, if there's a cook at home who normally uses olive oil and is going to switch to vegetable oil, do they need to make a temperature adjustment too? Because isn't vegetable oil want to have a higher what do you call it?
Smoke point.
Yeah.
Right. I just, just short of smoking is where I keep the oil.
All right.
Be it either olive
Doesn't
oil
matter.
or this. No, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
See how it's starting to turn yellow?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's starting to
All
look
right, good.
saffrony now. There, I see.
Saffroni.
That's just for the folks in the back. I'll take you back there sometime. You'll need an escort. I'll introduce you.
Okay, that's a deal. All right, we got some of this. This is, by the way, this is cornstarch and some corn flour as opposed to regular flour. This will make it a little crisp it up a little bit better than regular flour will.
Okay.
So cornstarch works real well when you want to fry something. You can fry chicken or fish with, so it's 2 parts to 1 part. I did 2 parts corn flour to 1 part cornstarch.
Okay. And I saw out of my peripheral vision that you threw a little bit in there just to see if it was done.
Yes,
Just
I
see if
wanted
it
to
was
see if
hot
the oil
enough.
was hot enough. Right,
Okay.
so we didn't have it sitting in there and absorbing the oil. We wanted to fry the fish
Okey-doke.
and bring the moisture out of the fish, so crisp it up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
And again, thin slices, kind of small pieces, not like a big, thick piece of rockfish
Right.
like maybe another recipe.
I did that intentionally, cutting it small like that so it'll cook quickly, it'll be nice and crisp, and we'll have the white flaky meat on the inside.
All right. Well, we will come back to it and I guess put it all together.
Yes,
Get
we
it
will.
on a plate in the next segment. Talk a little bit about what's going on out there in Suffolk at Primo.
Okay.
Sure. All right, we're back in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen with the surfing chef, Steve Gellis from Primo 116 this morning, making a rockfish dish that you took second place in the big rockfish cook-off.
Yes, I did.
How many chefs were in there?
I think there were 13 professionals and 9 amateurs.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really
awesome.
neat.
All right, so we fried up a little bit of rockfish.
Yes.
You taught us how to make the Saffron Orzo
Yes,
with the pancetta.
with the pancetta and the shallots, and then at the very end I put some chives.
Chives, right.
Some chives for some color and some more flavor, not green onions.
Green
scallions.
onions. Okay. All right, so chives in there for the flavor, and the color has come up. This has been sitting over here. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cashew Relish.
Yes.
Okay, and you toasted those and put some cilantro and some good stuff in there?
And some jalapenos and some vinegar and...
And some honey, too. So is that to,
The honey and the vinegar kind of balance.
the jalapeno?
And the jalapeno kind of a little bit of heat, and the cilantro keeps it nice and bright. And the butteriness of the toasted cashews.
All right. Well, you've fixed up some little plates for us to try.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you what's going on at Primo 116 there in Suffolk. New Year's has passed, and the major holidays. Folks are turning their attention now to Valentine's Day.
Yes, and we also are featuring when I won the Dish of Hampton Roads, the braised pork cheeks with the butternut squash risotto.
Yes.
We are featuring that this month of January.
That was good. I mean, that was at the Signature Chefs event for the March of Dimes, and I have to admit, I paused a second there at the braised pork cheeks. I was thinking, what is this? They were delicious.
Yes.
They were really good.
Thank
you.
I
mean, if you want to try something new, something that Steve doesn't make all the time, get out there and try that, because that's what you won the Dish of Hampton Roads. I mean, the rockfish thing is a big honor as well.
But yes,
the
both
Dish
are.
of Hampton Roads at the Signature Chefs event was pretty spectacular.
Yes, it is. And like I said, we'll be running that the month of January. And I'll also be running this dish pretty much the next few weekends for people to try as well.
And folks should get out there, because, I mean, the restaurant itself is really, really neat. My husband and I went with some friends recently, and just, it was just nice to go in there and notice the floor and the ceiling and the architecture, because, I mean, it's a pretty old place.
Yes, the building's about 100 years old.
Yeah.
And then the only thing original are the floors and the tin ceilings and a little bit of the molding, the crown molding. But Margaret, my wife, decorated and designed the whole front of the house.
Yeah.
And I did the back because I live in the back of the house.
Because it's the kitchen.
That's the kitchen, correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's a neat little restaurant, 55 seats. And we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 10.
All right. Any last pieces of advice for folks if they're going to attempt this dish at home in terms of timing everything right? I know you have to do things differently here for the purposes of TV.
It's actually a pretty easy dish. I mean, you can get the cashew relish done hours in advance and let it sit. The orzo takes about 15-20 minutes to do when you blanch it off and then frying the fish, sautéing the fish. So it's a pretty easy dish, and it's a lot of fun. And it's so if you're entertaining, it's not hard at all to do for a group of people, of guests.
You brought some wine to cook with today. What would you drink with this dish?
Some bourbon. No, I would.
That's what I get for putting you on the spot.
Nice bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
Would
All
go
right,
well
so
with
something
it.
white.
Something white.
Okay.
And light.
All right. Well, we're going to give it a try in just a few minutes. Right now, Cheryl wants to introduce us to another special guest.